You got a lot of young players on this team. The only guys who have really shut it down, the Colin Hurley, Caleb Jackson, Ashton Stamps are guys who weren't getting PT. And I understand why they do that. But the point is, you haven't had guys who expect to have a major role on this team quit. And this is the time in college football when people are quitting more than ever, more often than ever. You got guys quitting on teams with returning coaches, like who don't have any uncertainty looming over the program. So I think that says a lot about the desire these guys have to be here. And that can only encourage coaches to want to come and coach at a place like LSU. You got a good core of young players on both sides of the ball. You got guys who obviously want to be here. You've gotten a commitment at wide receiver since Brian Kelly got fired. You've had one decommitment from the class. It's just a lot of built-in advantages at LSU that you don't see in a lot of other places, and that's encouraging because that bye week period, the firing, the bye week that followed, it's like you're looking at it's night and day from now until then. From then till now, completely different outlook. Thank God, people have kind of quieted down off the field. You're not getting a lot of news off the field other than, prospective coaches. So it's allowed the play on the field to kind of come to the forefront. And that's an awesome thing for LSU right now because it's really a lot to like about the job. And it's no secret why people like Kiffin would want to come to LSU. Speaking of Kiffin, all right, so it's no secret by now. His ex-wife came on a plane with some family members or something, whoever was with her, and they checked out LSU, checked out Baton Rouge, and yada, yada, yada. And that's not huge news for me. It's kind of expected. Right before that, maybe a day or so before she came to Baton Rouge, she was in Gainesville. So it's apparent that Lane is leaving his options open. He is obviously willing to leave Ole Miss. Of course, it's going to take the right situation. And no matter what he says about contracts and money, it's going to take the right price. Because even if Kiffin didn't care about the money, I guarantee you his agent does. So it's going to take the right price to get him. It's hard to really come up with a favorite because you're not really hearing about anybody other than Kiffin. You're not really getting a lot of information, at least credible inside information as far as who else LSU is considering. And obviously, you understand the interest. You look at Kiffin, who's taking taking a program like Ole Miss, who hasn't won a championship since the 50s, and now this is a playoff program. This year, I think, has been a more impressive year than last year because even though he had so much talent last year and they had a good year, 9-3, he's doing more with less this year. This year's team, this 2025 Ole Miss, does not have the talent that he had last year, and they're one loss right now and virtually a lock to make the playoffs. So you look at what he's doing in Ole Miss, in a state that's not as talent rich as Louisiana, has a second school in state in Mississippi State to compete with. And you're looking at a very high floor for LSU. You're looking at 10 wins is the floor. If he comes to LSU, 10 wins is the floor, and it should be because you got more access to talent, and you've seen the evaluator that he is. Who else was going and looking for a guy like Chambliss at quarterback? A D2 guy at quarterback at a major school, an SEC school, and he's done great. He's beat out the big name guy. So Kiffin can obviously evaluate talent. He can coach offense with the best of them. So you understand the attraction. Now, understand this. for those who are kind of complaining about the price tag with BK and the buyout, yada yada, I understand this is a different guy than Brian Kelly, but it's going to be a healthy price. It's going to be a hefty price if LSU is to get Lane Kiffin. You saw a lot of crying and gnashing of teeth at the thought of $10 million a year. Well, it's going to take more than that to get Kiffin from Ole Miss. He's got a great situation right now. If he stays at Ole Miss and continues to make the playoffs, and God forbid they expand the playoffs, he's never going to miss them. But sooner or later, you're going to get a team good enough to win it all, I think. And if you keep putting yourself in that position, if he even gets to a few championship games, let alone win the whole thing, they're going to build a statue for him at Ole Miss. Like, he could really create a lasting legacy at Ole Miss and not really have that much pressure on him, because who else has won? Who else has won in Oxford? Who else has won big since World War II? Not many people. So it's going to take a lot to get him, but is he willing to go? Obviously, he's willing to go. If you are looking for something cheaper, more affordable, sort of a great value, Lane Kiffin, I got a name. And recently, you've seen some odds come out for just for us being the Nets LSU head coach. And a few weeks ago on Twitter, I threw out a name without any inside information, without any information to tell me that the guy would even be interested or that LSU would be interested in him. And I thought that Kenny Dillingham would make a good coach at LSU. I thought that he would succeed. And lo and behold, right now, Kenny Dillingham has 3-1 odds, best odds to be the next LSU head coach. So let's talk about Dillingham. You got another guy like Kiffin with an offensive background. You got a young guy at 35 years old. And you got a guy like Kiffin who has proven that he can kind of make chicken salad out of chicken scratch. I'll put it like that. He'll keep it PG. He can make the best out of what he's got, is the point. That's what I'm saying. OC at Memphis at one point, he led top 5 offenses, led Memphis to 2 top 5 offenses in consecutive years. Built this reputation as a great recruiter. Second year at Arizona State, he won the Big 12 when Arizona State was predicted to finish last. And yeah, I get it. It's the Big 12. It's wide open. Nothing is really going to shock you because it's not a lot of separation. But when you're predicted last, that says a lot for you to win that conference. And not only win it, but go on to the playoffs. And they played the hell out of Texas. Like Arizona State, don't get the wrong idea that they won a bad conference. It's not a bad conference. It's just not a lot of separation in the Big 12. It's not any elite teams, and there aren't any elite teams. And in this day and age of college football, you're seeing fewer and fewer elite teams anyway. So definitely got to appreciate what he has done at Arizona State to this point. I talked about Kiffin with the contract, and I think it was Moscona of 104.5 in Baton Rouge who reported numbers around $14 million a year for Kiffin. And whether that's right or wrong, it's in the neighborhood. Whether it's 13 or whether it's 15, that 14 is in the neighborhood because that's just what it's going to take. Florida wants him too. Ole Miss wants to keep him. So you're looking at $14-ish million a year for Kiffin. And that's before you've hired another assistant. Right now, Kenny Dillingham is getting $5.8 million. That's a big difference. That is less than half of what you would probably pay Kiffin if you got him. Now, of course, it's going to take more than $6 million to get him to leave Arizona State. He's an Arizona native. He went to Arizona State, so there's a personal connection that comes with that. But it's a big jump from 6 mil to 14. So if you want to approach this thing where you get a good coach, maybe not the established elite name, but you get a good coach, a proven coach, and let's save some money for some players. I don't know. Dillingham might be the move. Kenny Dillingham might be the move, and who knows if he's even interested? I don't know, but hey, reach out. I say it's worth reaching out to him and kind of gauging his interest on it. Because if you can get him for, let's say, 7 mil a year, 8 mil, even 8. Let's say if you got him for 9 mil a year, that's still $5 more million a year you can put on players. And you already got a lot of players who want to come to LSU anyway. You got a lot of in-state players who are going to come to LSU for a fraction of what it would take for an Ole Miss or an Auburn or somebody like that to get them. You got a lot of players in Louisiana who just want to go to LSU, regardless of the coach. I won't say regardless of the pay, but it's not nearly the fact that it would be for a lot of schools. So I think that's an interesting name. Now, just to make this clear, these odds don't mean anything. These are just. It's not like Vegas is setting odds on a game, which they're pros at that. They're pros at, obviously. I mean, you got people throwing away money every week, every night, betting games, betting parlays, and they're hitting it on the number. Vegas is. When it comes to coaches, they don't know. It's a crapshoot. But it's interesting. When you look at it, it's interesting to see Dillingham at the top of that list with 3-1 odds. And just for fun, let's talk about some other guys on this list. After Dillingham, you have Nick Saban with 4-1 odds. And I've heard it for weeks. Everybody knows somebody. Everybody has a cousin or an uncle or a sister-in-law or a baby mama that's talking about they saw Nick Saban's wife and she's shopping for a house and the deal is done and they're gonna give him this much. You're not getting Nick Saban. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. Go ahead and move on. Don't get your hopes up. You're not getting Nick Saban. Saban is a guy who needs something to prove, and he's proven himself at LSU. He's proven himself in college football. And I don't know if it's enough money. And I understand that everything has a price, but I don't know if it's enough money out there that could get him to go back in today's climate of college football and take on that responsibility. When he can come on TV and just talk about the game and still get paid. Not the same money, but you're doing something that's stress-free. You're not running behind teenagers. You're not dealing with the politics that comes with being a head coach. And it's not just at LSU. This is anywhere. So I think that's a long shot at best. Coming in third with 10-1 odds, we got John Sumrall, Tulane. And Sumrall is a guy that's proven. Sumrall is a guy that's doing a great job at Tulane. He's an up-and-coming coach, and whether it's LSU or somewhere else, it just seems like it's inevitable that Sumrall is going to end up in the SEC. You got Florida, you got Auburn. There have been reports of him meeting with Florida. Then you get reports that the meeting is not going to happen. But either way it goes, Sumrall can coach ball. Now, what I think, and this is without any inside information, I think that the LSU brass probably thinks that LSU is a little better than that. And it doesn't sound good. It's not my opinion. It's just what I think. And I could easily be wrong. But that's my opinion on that. I would be surprised if Sumrall ended up being a coach. I think if he did end up being the LSU football coach, then it would be sort of a backup plan type deal. After Sumrall, you got Joe Brady with 13-2 odds. Would I love to see Joe Brady come back and be LSU head coach? I think it would be interesting. I want to make sure that people understand one thing. I don't care how smart you are on one side of the ball. Now, it helps if you have expertise on offense or defense, and we've seen Joe Brady excel as a game planner, as an offensive play caller, but it's different when you're the head guy. You don't have the same kind of time to put into one side of the ball. You got a lot of stuff going on, and we don't know if Joe Brady can be a head coach. Another thing that we don't know is if he even wants to come back to the college level. Look, right now, Joe Brady is working, 6 months out of the year? He's not recruiting. He doesn't have to worry about class, who's going to class, who's not, transfer portal windows, uh, early signing periods. We got all this stuff happening at one time. Look, you can just show up in the NFL in July, run through some mini camps, play a few preseason games. He doesn't have the headache that he would have at the college level. So I'm not sure if Joe Brady would be up for that. But if he did, it would be interesting. It would be fun because the guy knows offense. Now, if he can handle the rest of the responsibilities of being a head coach, that would be the question.